Hello guys and welcome to another Twist of Fate video. This one will be done on NA because I went ahead to play on North America a couple of games with the Ramos. He's a good friend of mine and I enjoy relaxing some games at times in NA. Despite the ping difference being 140 ms, it doesn't really bother me that much, but let's just start explaining with the video and get into lane phase, I guess. So against Ryze I'm running Comet and the Mana Region, Celerity and Gathering Storm. And for secondaries I'm running Face Boots and Stopwatch. The idea of this is to use Gathering and Comet linear scaling and then to cheese gold efficiency for the other items on Inspiration because I won't really be beating him 1v1. I start out by shoving out the lane to get a feel of how he wants to play, whether he wants to poke or whether he wants to shove, and the usual response with this is the Ryze will shove and he will start investing mana and poke that I can avoid by both not being near my minions and by him blowing CDs and mana on the minions and not me as a target. So since he's playing really far back, I decide to be linear towards him, and I know usually the jungler starts red side, so I'm hugging the blue side where my Rammus is too. I try to match the shove of the lane accordingly, not try to let those crash in just yet. He sees my intent, so he pokes me accordingly, which is good to him. But I managed to get all the minions cleanly out. It just, the Ryze took the opportunity and he decided to poke me instead of letting the wave crash in and denying me the CS. So he played it correctly and now I'm just farming the wave out. I'm always gonna try to play around him. The Ramus, I'm on Discord with him, so he pings me the Ryze on minimap. If you guys pay your attention, but I'm telling him that the Ryze we can't really win the 2v2, so I tell him off. Here he's pinging for a gank, but I have my W off. He gets rooted and the Ryze gets away. I could have flushed stun him, but I actually didn't check that he was running TP. I only checked it after the gank and then it hit me. Yeah, we could have killed the guy because we know the Lee Sin was zoning upwards. So we could have all-in him, especially since he took the long route to try and escape, so we would have had a high chance of killing him. However, Rammus comes for a return gank and we managed to get the guy, and I wasn't actually sure if the Ignite was gonna kill him, and since my ping is 140, the flash got delayed by 0.5 seconds, and I ended up looking really bad flashing for no reason. The flashing of the symbol is something I just joked with Rammus. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna justify my flash. Are you looking at my character? It's like, yeah, what do you want? And I'm like, pressing to flash the mastery mode, and the flash is justified by it. Well, surely not, but let's move along. I get a perfect catalyst at 4 minutes. I don't really have anything else to buy, so with this I can just try to sustain and farm out the lane as I have before. I don't let the wave crash, and since I'm running catalyst, I want rather to shove out the lane rather than maintaining it. And I know my flash is down, Ram's flash is down, Ryze flash is down, so we don't necessarily need to kill him, we can later on, but this will allow Rammus to do things anywhere else on the map, and I'm just gonna try to get to the 1600 so I can complete the rod. Also, I want to shove out the wave since I know they will have a hard time engaging on me. The Lee Sin comes and randomly ganks for no reason, but as I was saying, is since we know Ryze flash is down and Lee Sin is on level 6, I'm not really threatened to gank, and I can try to just shove and play around the Ryze more than trying to maintain and manipulate the wave to gank the Ryze. And for this it can exceed the pressure elsewhere on the map for Rammus to gank, as I'm gonna hit 6 and we can do different setups. Here I'm waiting so we don't layer up the CC. Ryze gets his shield but then he gets away, so I shouldn't have waited because I missed out on potential damage. I should have locked the W later on, but I didn't know if Rammus was gonna make it in time, because I know he would be able to tank the turret by doing it. And by that frame of reference, I didn't know how if I needed to be the first one to stun the very least. Here I'm checking bot lane, but I'm standing at the risky spot, but it's fine because Lee Sin isn't level 6 and the Ryze is far away, and I knew that the Ryze was low HP. Here I clean out the pink, I clean out both wards, I proc my passive and get the ward gold. And I'm back to shoving out the lane for now. These lanes are quite hard to gank because of how bot lane is playing, and the Janna is always playing laid back while my bot lane is playing really passive. So from what I analyzed by watching them in bot lane, which you guys can't see, is their tendencies. And then the Cyan, he has even farm with Riven, but it's really hard to gank because I played Cyan TF into Riven before, and I need to rely on the Cyan more than myself to enable the kill. Here I'm roaming down to see in case we can spot Lee Sin, or if I can get maybe a cheeky roam. But then I notice his Razor up, so I end up deciding to take the small ones and proc my passive and farm up. I head back to lane, I Q it, so I can then farm the rest of the wave. I get all the free minions with a nice cute trajectory, and I'm resetting because I'm sure I have 1600 now if memory serves me correctly, and I have a quick 8-minute rod to scale off. My phase boots are only gonna come active in 1.5 minutes. I haven't really managed to use my ult or roam by how the lanes are looking. The Cyan seems to be pressured, but I need Rammus for a free man. And the bot lane has now shifted to our bot lane, shoving them in. And that makes it even trickier to gank them. I know here my duo is calling for the Riven gank, which is pretty painful, as you guys will see soon. They go hard engage, they all in. So I know I need to come. The Cyan mistimes his stun. We lose every damage on the Riven. And basically I get screwed over by my team here. I should never have come here. And we end up trading really bad. And it ends up being a 0 for 2 for no reason. The good thing is Ryze roamed up, even though he picked up stuff, he didn't really shove it late. So for me, it doesn't really matter as a whole, but it wasn't really ideal or good for any of us. And bot lane are losing a 2v2 on the meanwhile, so this was a large team deficit nonetheless. I respawn and I pretty much say, let's just scale and ignore bot and top, because there's nothing really much to do. The bot lane have weird tendencies, the top lane seems to be useless, his initial rational decision to ult was bad too. The Lee Sin is spotted here. I can't really engage, so I try to poke Ryze slightly. My duo comes a bit too forward and they turn with the random Janna coming from bot lane, unannounced. And yeah, they get another free kill. Not really much to be said at this point. I tried to shove out the lane because I know Ryze hasn't recalled yet, which is most likely what he will do. And Janna should have been leaving too. Lee Sin... No, actually, oh yeah, my first initial thought was maybe they're not recalling, maybe they're doing Infernal. Varus dies again when I'm looking at the minimap to see if I can just head down bot, but he dies, so that kind of negates the possibility of me just running down bot lane for a gank. At least I checked Infernal, so the enemy team didn't have that. And I'm back to lane doing just standard things, farming up, because there's not really much to do at this point of the game. Because my team is really weak and they're losing in side lanes. The jungle is behind too. The only one that's really ahead is me, because I'm out CSing the Ryze and I'm proccing my passive out of those 102 minions and on wards. So I'm at the final stage compared to Ryze. Here I try to play aggressive and trade with the Ryze. Lee Sin misses his Q. I run away to see where they're ulting, which baits the Ryze to cancel. I manage to connect the Q on Lee Sin, but then the Janna comes and basically saves the Ryze and gets the double buff through auto-attacking me for some strange reason. So it ends a 1-for-1, but at least my max range Q predicted the Lee Sin trajectory and we got him. So it's not really that bad. It's not really that good either, but Rammus can at least pick up and try to match Lee, while I won't be at a too large deficit because I got the kill, Ryze only got the assist, and for some reason Ryze recalled or went back or whatever he did, because he's not shoving in the wave and making me basically lose CS so he can out CS me or catch up to me, which is really weird. The Rammus gives me hands me blue buff because he knows I'm the only one who's actually has a lead and I can probably utilize it the best. My flash is coming up, so I want to time that with my ult, if possible. Just running around hugging the side of the wards. The wave is coming back. I can't ever fight Ryze, so I'm back to just standard shoving it out and basically farming because there's not much to be done. Here the Ryze actually is really disgusting with the stepping 4 because we have the entire side warded and he's playing like Lee Sin would be at Wolves and soon to insect me or something, which is really obnoxious because he normally he could have died, and that's just really weird clicking or stepping from his side, and just a really bad tendency to show for him that he's really unsure how to step back and forth. They managed to get Infernal because our vision doesn't cover that, at least he managed to sneak it off, which was maybe why Ryze was pressuring later on, that I could deduce from his basically being brain dead. The Rammus goes heavy after we managed to blow his flash. Luckily my stun didn't time out, so I managed to get that off. Ryze cancelled his ult, even though the Lee Sin was coming. I pulled up the stun just in case, and it was normal things. As I was saying about the Infernal though, is it might have justified the Ryze to play aggressive and maybe center the attention different, so they could get it and say, hey, I'm just a decoy bait, I'm willing to trade myself for the Infernal or something obnoxious in that matter. Here I was looking bot lane prior to them dying, but I couldn't really match with the ult because I think Zillion died instantly and then he ulted the Varus, and as soon as Varus come up there were 4 relative healthy members sitting there, so I could just stun one of them and then die. Here I end up ulting because the Rammus calls that there's maybe a potential bot play, but I wanted to initially wait because no one was showing in bot lane and I knew the Lee Sin could be around, so I ended up burning ult for no reason, listening to my duo partner, and just burned my ult for no reason because Lee Sin was gonna show himself in 2 seconds, and that was what I was basically waiting for, to see if he's still stuck around bot lane. Else we could have gone for the 2v2. I'm back to farming, which is pretty much gonna be a large theme of this game. There's not much to do, as you can see the scores across the team. I'm the only one who's really doing something, and I'm not even doing much at all because there's not much to be done, but I'm healthy in CS, I got the kills. I'm just farming up to a different stage of the game where I can be a more decisive factor with the gold I've accumulated. Yeah, I'm going back for Sheen. Pretty standard, the Mercs to match their CC on their team because pretty much everyone in their team has a form of CC. I don't know if the Mercs reduce. Oh, actually, they should reduce the Draven slow on his E if it connects, so it helps globally against your team, but it's mainly for the Ryze. And then the Riven stun. I've got the face boots upgraded, so I've gotten 350 gold there for free, and from the Zonia on the stopwatch. Here Lee Sin pretty much dies for free, and Rammus gets traded for it. I need to flash because Riven might have flashed, but we end up getting Janna for free. And then I'm kiting in and out to see if Riven wants to re-engage with ult or flash. And I end up taking deter shots because I was trying to get in range to stun the Draven, but it didn't work out. I'm still stepping back and forth trying to zone with the yellow card, hoping my team would attack the turret, but neither is Zilean or Varus because after I'm zoning, he's zoning with his Q. But we end up getting the turret, so it's fine. Here I'm contemplating whether to stay for the mid wave or the bottom wave because Draven might want it because he's at a larger deficit, but then he stands up and charges his Q, and I'm like, fine, I'll take the larger minion wave and gold. I don't mind that at all. Like, why would I say no to more gold? The bot lane is recalling a bit randomly, so I need to recall ASAP and head back to def mid because my bottom lane wants to reset as well. I finally get Lishbane and I'm a pretty good point in the game. The 20-minute mark is coming up too, so I will get 24 AP instead of 8. So I'll get an AP increase. Here in mid lane, so I will just explain it. I was waiting because Rammus was coming from Wraiths, and then the Lee was at the turret, so it forced the Janna and Draven to stay a bit, and then I could center out the Janna. So I was waiting for the Lee Sin to be deeper, that their bot lane needs to stick around or the Lee Sin gets killed with the ult, which you guys can't see, but I'm explaining it rather than showing it back in time. It's like you delay ult for the most efficient moment that you think will be of use to you to secure a kill, basically. The Sion basically randomly dies with Riven being up top when the next Infernal is spawning, which is now, which is really bad, but I pinged that the Infernal is up and the Sion is alive. Here I end up chunking the Janna and we almost get her, which is really unfortunate because no matter if we get her or not, I know they can't Infernal as easily because of Janna being injured. Here I end up zoning them, and I wanted to ping him type to Cyan TP bot wave. But I ended up dancing instead because I wasn't sure if the Cyan wanted to match the Riven. Because I didn't really see Riven yet changing her summoner because of the summoner change shards she's running. So I didn't know she hadn't changed to Ignite back from TP. But the Cyan finally TPs on the bottom wave and it zones them out. And they don't want to take the risk of Lee Sin long range stealing it because his flash is down and it could lead to a potential Baron take from our team. Even though we're still behind 5,000 gold, we're at a good stage of the game because we managed to win the last team fight, we managed to get some picks, and then we got now our own Infernal to match theirs. So their lead has been diminished and then the dragons have been negated, pretty much. And I'm still highest CS in the game, I'm still farming really well, scaling up and ramping up my gold. Here I'm back to shoving the lane, which is not really surprising. And I get Seekers because they have tons of AD, so I can stack up that rather than the CDR. Because I have my stuff up, so I don't really need the CDR more than the survival against their team. And I have the stopwatch, so I can soak a lot of damage combined with the Seekers to be as tanky as possible. The Riven is top, I delay my ult to see if they get it on his own. I end up going for Janna because I thought the Riven was dead. We end up chasing them, our bot lane splits them up. I end up flashing for Janna because I know that their team wanted to collapse on our bot lane and sandwich them off. But we managed to get Lee Sin as well, and for some reason we're not doing Baron. I mean, we could maybe still consider it as being risky and go for the double turret instead. But it's weird because we know Riven doesn't have TP, but she can exchange. Then the Ryze and Raven. But we went for the safer play rather than the more aggressive play. Now, however, Riven shows bottom lane and she doesn't have TP. So we're thinking about it as a team. I sidestep the Ryze because I don't know where the rest of the team are. But I spot them now. So that could have led to a pick, but it didn't really end up mattering in that. I get my rod, so I'm the only one on 3 items. So I'm still at a really strong point in the game. I spot the Riven and Cyan bot lane. So here I'm making a conscious choice. What should be the next play? Should we juggle all the things? And since Riven is really far ahead bot lane, I tell myself, okay, this is gonna sound really weird, so I'm gonna explain it before it happens. So I will ult for Riven in bot lane, and it will prompt the enemy team to start Baron, which I make a conscious decision of. I'm going on the Riven. Okay, the play is not happening yet. I'm sorry. Here we get Lee Sin, because he's seen on a ward, and we basically get him for free. The lanes are at a really horrible position, so we need to match them because they're shoving them out. And the Baron isn't really optional because it can still be throw, since Lee Sin isn't that essential to their team. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and explain ahead of time a play I'm gonna make. So I think on the next upcoming Destiny I will ult for Riven to prompt them to make Baron, which I'm aware of. And as soon as they start it, I cancel on the Riven and I run towards Baron because I know Rammus can potentially steal it, and then we have a 4v4 which we've been looking for. Because their team is doing the same thing, they're avoiding us, they're scaling up. It's only Lee Sin getting a bit restless and suicidal on his like movements and clicks, because he knows they've been losing stuff lately, so he gets restless and he doesn't want to play to their according scaling a late game portion of the game. So that's why I make the conscious decision to try and break the state of the game that we're in by ulting Riven and make them start Baron and then head there over to win a team fight and have the possibility of a Baron steal. And if not, we escalate the game off the stalemate and then we can team fight them and beat them 5v5 and potentially open the map. Which, sure, it hands them the Baron, which is potentially bad, but there's always a inherent risk to every play, and I made it consciously, which is hard to explain because it's hard to make people believe me saying, hey, TF is going for a retarded pick, which then makes the enemy team possibly get Baron. And usually you wouldn't really state or go for that in any case or scenario. So when I make this, the statement that I was conscious and it might lead to a possible good play, people will find a hard time to believe my thought processing because it's so complex, and I'm using so much foresight and prediction in that play before it even happens or is made. And for some people it's a not a tough task to swallow, because it's just hard to imagine someone having that good game knowledge or ahead of time prediction. But I guess you guys will see in a couple of minutes what I'm on about, rather than me just rambling before it happens. Because at the moment the game is not really being destructive. Here I'm pushing out because I saw them earlier on the map and I know I can ult away. I only need a couple of gold, I believe, before Void Staff. So I need one more wave, I believe. And then I will be the first guy on 4 items in the game. And I'm always keeping in the game 1 item ahead of the Ryze, basically. Like now we have 3 each, but I will get Void, so that will be 1 added in my favor. So I'm scaling up really insanely fast and I'm at a really strong point in the game. So naturally I want to set up and fight or have a possibility to do something. I spot Lee Sin, but then he moves downwards, so I know it's safe to recall here while Ryze deals with the wave. The only possibility is if someone else comes or if Ryze tries to cancel me, which is too late by the time he tries to, and I get Void Staff. Our vision on the Baron is lacking, but then they showed that they wanted to maybe try and get a pick, they just end up poking Varus. And here's the play I'm talking about. So the enemy team is instantly pinging for Baron in case I go on Riven. And here you see, as soon as I go on Riven, I leave. Zilean for some reason comes here for no apparent reason, and both me and him are ahead of time rushing towards the Baron. And we're hoping the Rammus to steal, which I said was a conscious thing on my end, because it's not unusual, and the Rammus manages to get the steal. Our team arrives and we manage to take off portion of their team and killing them. The Ryze for some reason TP'd bot lane, which I still can't to this day comprehend as to why. My team is pinging on Draven, but my bot lane wanted to be the ones backing off to possibly defend, so I cancelled it once, but then I made the conscious decision to go the Riven overstays, and I basically kill her with Zillion, and I proceed to shove out the lane to get some lane manipulation going. But that's the Baron play I wanted to talk about, which I mentioned before, that I was aware of the possibility, I was aware of how it could be played out, but it's hard to explain or have people basically believe me when I say, oh yeah, but I knew that would happen, I'm so good at this game. It's like, oh, who is this guy? He's so arrogant, like, how can he possibly state that he has trust in his Rammus or Duki to possibly smite and then them winning a team fight based on him making a unnecessary possible play on Riven by ulting? No, I knew I could ult on Riven and we could possibly get Riven or trade and then try to go for another objective, or we could possibly initiate and cancel the stalemate of the game and start to basically destroy the game by its pace. Here he's talking about a possible pick, but I sidestepped forward for no reason, and Lee Sin cues me, but it would have hit Rammus anyway now on the replay, so it actually doesn't matter what I was about to say, so I'll just cancel that. Here I spot the Ryze. I thought he had no flash, that's why I flashed, but we end up chain seeing him, so it doesn't matter. I go for possibly Draven, but Lee Sin jumps in trying to insect me, and we get him too. And my dude is basically saying, whoa, like, this aggression from you, what the fuck? Because I end up making the 2 picks happen. Here I'm trying to look for more as I zone out with the yellow card, but it's about to time out, so I stun the turret. I see the redemption, so we basically heal off. And we get the inhibitor. Here I prompt to maybe go for the bottom way, but I noticed that I have way too much gold needed for Rabadon. I need about 900 if memory serves me correctly. I was at 2000 and you need 2950. So I'm just going to go and get my blue buff basically. My Rammus leaves for wolf, so I basically say I'ma just do Gromp, and then I head bottom to do the Scuttle to get even more closer golds to the Rabadon because I really want full build. And it's gonna make me even stronger now that we hit the 30-minute mark, and the Gathering Storm has given me now, it gives now 48 instead of 24. So I want the Rabadon scaled with the Gathering Storm too. Here I get this mini wave, and then I basically tell my team soon with the pinging in the chat, which you guys can't see because the TFRM will block it, but I will basically write I need one more wave for Rabadon, and basically soon start pinging it that I'm gonna reset. Here I basically missed the Q because I'm boosted, but I have enough gold for the Rabadon, so I'm recalling for it, and then I'm gonna head down with my team for the next dragon, which is Ocean Drake coming up. So here I'm insanely strong. I have a 30 minutes Gathering Storm proccing and full build. The only thing that's missing is Elixir, and if you look on my matchup perspective, the Ryze, he is basically only at 3.5 items. Here I'm ulting to see where they are or potentially go for a pick. I end up getting Ryze, and then I need my team to try and help him with Riven. I kite inwards and backwards from the Riven. And hang on, did I dodge the ult? So here I thought that, oh my god, I'm so good at this game. There I wanted her to possibly miss the Q. Because I wanted to kite her 1 second upwards and then sidestep down back for her to Q ahead, and then I get to go into my team safety, but it ended up me actually dodging the ult. Here I'm running it down because I know the wave is crashing for my team and I want to buff it. I end up trading myself for Janna and Lee, so they will get Lee Sin and now they can actually finish the game, which is really nice for us. So yeah, our team ends up winning based off that play and me playing again aggressive and getting the last couple of kills needed. And we managed to play and close out the game. So with this game I wanted to demonstrate some of my thought processing and how to ramp up passively with my team losing in basically every role compared to their opponents, especially in the side lanes. My duo was a bit behind to the Lee Sin, which was fine, because his tank and the Lee Sin goes glass cannon, and that's to be expected of Lee Sin to maybe try to escalate his team, and since he had the winning team, that happened too for him. But this game shows on basically playing the style on TF, using foresight prediction, getting the correct picks, getting the lane phase going and everything basically going on for you as a TF. And I hope you guys liked some of the aggression or decision making in this game and the highlighted thoughts or processing to why I made those conscious decisions in team fight, flashing forward, setting up the Baron play, going for end kills, dodging out the Riven ult at the end, and going ahead of my team to try and close out the game, which ended up the Janna and Lee Sin. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this analytical video of me playing on North America with 140 ping in about, I think, Diamond 4 elo this game was. So thank you guys for watching and be sure to stay tuned for more awesome videos. I'll see you guys for the next one.